Baldur's Gate 3. A majority of gamers wanted it to win Game of the Year. Some of us understand why it won Game of the Year, and then others are completely outraged that it won Game of the Year. And let's see what those people have to say. Review number 1. Character creation opens relatively quickly with genital selection. Porn/major nudity/sex/bestiality in Dungeons and Dragons video games shows that the Church of the 80s wasn't all wrong about Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, dear Lord. Which is something I never wanted to be able to say. Any great features that the game might have had undermined by the agenda of making hardcore porn video games from the previously popular series. Previously popular. It's still pretty popular. Even softcore porn has lasting consequences on society, children, relationships, and worldviews. This person is a psychopath. So endorsing this game features an agenda that I can't agree with. No matter how much I enjoy the Baldur's Gate games, therefore, due to family unfriendliness, lasting consequences to society, psychological damage from porn to a game series originally marketed to children. You think this game is marketed to children? Hold on, give me 5 seconds. Baldur's Gate 3 age rating. Okay, here we go. Do you see this? Okay, this game goes right to the line of marketing porn to children due to its predecessors and history. Had they named this game anything else, they might have better avoided that. For example, MTG, D&D settings, and books for Baldur's Gate market to children of all ages. But this video game says it markets to only adults, but by its very nature, it markets to children. I never once thought seeing a trailer of this game that it marketed to kids. Not only does every video game have a rating of what this game is, which if parents are picking up a game and it says rated M on it and they still buy it for their children, that's their fault. I get it. Not Dungeons and Dragons. Now this lady has me all messed up. Baldur's Gate 3 has been in existence for 20, 30 years. A game is going to change within that life cycle of that game. But to sit here and say it was marketed to children, or this person didn't expect it to be all porn, because it's not. Out of the hours that I have played, it happened once and nothing really actually happened. In this game, it just kind of peppers it in. It sprinkles it in a little bit. Game of Thrones. Are you going to go talk about Game of Thrones and how all that does is just psychologically damage kids? No. Do you know why? Because kids aren't watching Game of Thrones because it has an M rating. So, next review. Okay, Mr. Joe Kennedy, you have made it to review number 2. I'll just leave pointers, to be honest, and I'm so sad that I'm giving this 1 star, but it was that bad for both myself and the friends who got to play as a group. Poor character creation. Are you on absolute drugs? This had to be one of the most detailed character creations in all of video games, and that's the first thing you point out about it, about you giving it a 1 star, is the character creation. You could customize everything on the character. What the hell are you talking about? Buggy mess full of graphical and audio issues. Here's the thing. Have you thought about upgrading your PC on one of the most detailed games ever created? Because no one that I have talked to had any graphical or audio issues. Now, of course, things happen. This could be a legit issue. But when you buy a game like this, are you running it on a 980 graphics card? Or whatever the hell it was 20 years ago? Everything was blurry. Have you thought about turning off motion blur? Starting area is a hideous, ugly mess that doesn't engage you at all. There was literally an explosion. Of course it's going to be a little bit ugly and messy. This person clearly didn't get past the first 30 minutes of the game. Also, as a tutorial area gives you no real guidance or tutoring which just feels stupid. It's a point-and-click game that tells you where to go next. It's not that difficult if you never played a video game before, my friend. Combat is dull and repetitive with no charm of actual D&D. This game is literally Dungeons and Dragons. It's a point-and-click, turn-based game where you choose the wide variety of abilities that this game gives you. I would say the combat is not boring at all. You just probably don't like this kind of combat, which is your own fault. Feels like a single-player adventure with multiplayer tacked on. There's no reason to do stuff as a group. How about besides help each other fight bosses and enemies? Have fun with each other when you play? Enjoy each other? Enjoy your friends' company and the fact that you get to play a game like this with your friends? I don't understand how you can say the multiplayer aspect of this and playing this with a group is a downside. This is just a negative person. That being said, random encounters can pop out of nowhere. That is incredible. Have you played Red Dead Redemption 2? That is one of the best aspects of that game. Companions are given to whoever starts a conversation and can't switch them to someone else if you don't want them. That would happen to you in single player also. What are you talking about? Options menu keep resetting certain changes upon saving. To be honest, that is probably user error and you just aren't actually saving the settings. Or it says, hey, to apply these settings, restart the game. This person I just don't think reads. I think that's this person's issue. People saying the game gets good after 4 hours or so. Who wants to be engaged by a game like this for that long before it gets good? The game is pretty engaging from the start, and when a game is 200 hours long, 4 hours isn't that bad. This person, no matter what, would probably zone out after 8 hours and then never come back and play this game again. Like, do you play games more than 10 hours, my friend? 4 hours in a 200-hour game, that's pretty solid. That means for 196 hours, the game is very engaging. I mean, playing on a controller due to joint issues, the characters are incredibly unresponsive sometimes. Now, that I kind of do understand. Sometimes I'm playing a game on a PC with the controller, and it doesn't always react to the buttons that you're pressing. So I get that part of it. I understand. With time, balancing fixes, and a Divinity-style definitive edition. That was a tongue twister. This might be all right. For now, however, thank goodness for Steam refunds and the original game. I think it's okay if you don't like a game like this. I think that this was a pretty good game. I'm just not a top-down click and a click RPG journey kind of a person, but I completely understand why this game won Game of the Year. But I'm not going to go on Google and give it a 1 star because I don't necessarily like that type of game, that type of controlled game. But again, I still understand why it won. I see what is there. I have played at this point maybe 15 to 20 hours. I know that is nothing compared to most of you, but I am here to call out the people that don't know what the hell they're talking about. I was severely disappointed with this abomination. Some people describe as a video game. I went in expecting an experience like no other, as explained by many, but was swiftly disheartened by the mind-numbing gameplay, poor graphics, what are you talking about? And lackluster story. There are so many story elements into this game. You just have to pay a little bit of attention and you have to explore the world a little bit. If you just follow point A to point B the entire game, of course it's going to be a little bit lackluster, but if you go out, all right, Bale Hole. I was severely disappointed with this abomination. Some people describe as a video game. I went in expecting an experience like no other, as explained by many. I mean, yeah. But was swiftly disheartened by the mind-numbing gameplay, poor graphics. Poor graphics? The graphics in this game were incredible. What are you talking about? Get yourself a monitor that's not 720p. And lackluster story. I was very surprised to see the game receive the kind of praise it has been getting. For example, that's rude. My obese friend has been playing this game nonstop. He has only put the controller down to reach into his bag of Cool Ranch. To reach into his bag of Cool Ranch Doritos, whereas you couldn't get the controller out of my hands quick enough. At this point, the only game developers I trust to make a banging game is Insomniac. So you're just a Spider-Man 2 fan. That is all that you are. You are a Spider-Man 2 fanboy, because to say the only developer you can trust to make a good game is Insomniac is crazy. There are so many good developers. How dare you say only the creators of Spider-Man 2 can make a good game? Because besides Spider-Man, that developer has not done anything in a pretty long time. So I don't know what the hell you were talking about. Okay, Kaya Ray. This game was, to be frank, a complete waste of $60. 200 hours is a waste of $60 to you. 200 plus hours. Sorry, if you want to do 2 playthroughs, you got 400 hours, 600 hours, 1,000 hours. But it's a way. You're right. You know, the games, other games nowadays, those are totally worth $60. The game is designed in a way that just beats you over the head and makes you feel stupid at every turn. Your party will be TPK'd frequently because the game doesn't give you opportunity to grind and instead leads you straight to areas for which you are completely unknowingly horrendously underleveled. Leveling up itself is a feat which takes so much time and again pushes you up against enemies you're not yet equipped to handle. While providing you almost no enemies that are equipped to handle, or that you are equipped to handle, the whole game pushes you towards save scumming, does not give you guidance, and is very poorly designed in terms of making it enjoyable. This feels like the kind of game designed by D&D snobs to make new players feel stupid and ultimately pushes people away from the table. I would not recommend unless you like spending countless hours replaying the same bits in a fruitless attempt to get to the fun parts. So really, if you like MMOs, don't ever play this game, because grinding in a video game is apparently too time consuming. It is apparently going to make you feel stupid, and it apparently deserves a 1 star. So playing this game for the little bit that I did, yes, the game does kind of guide you in a certain direction, but you can go in a different direction and do what you need to do to level up a little bit. And no offense, but if you keep dying over and over and over again with a group of people, then you probably are just with the group that aren't good at turn-based click games. That's okay, but don't blame that on the game. Clearly, there are tons of people that got through this game and may have had some issue, may have had some difficulty, but that's just part of playing a video game, my friend. It's just, it can sometimes be a little bit difficult, and that's okay. Have you played Demon's Souls? Have you played Elden Ring? Any of those? Do any of those ring a bell to you? Do all the people that got completely destroyed in those video games, did they just go online and automatically mark it as a 1 star? No, because you explore a little bit, you level up, you understand how the game works, and then you go back to what you couldn't beat before. That easy. All right, Tara Lindsay. I've never been so disappointed in a game before. It's very Dungeons and Dragons, like a board game with dice rolling. The free will during combat is gone. This is going to be tricky to read. You have to have points to even move during battle. My partner and I have beaten the first 2 in co-op mode. We were so excited for this launch and have played a miserable hour of the game. Because we downloaded it, PSN wouldn't refund us the $63 as we no longer have any interest in playing this game. It's nothing like the others, and to us, in the ways it's better, it's worse in even more ways. I will never understand why they butchered the game so bad. We wish so much we hadn't wasted that much money on it, as it was not worth it. Now, I've never played Baldur's Gate 1 or 2, so I do understand when someone is upset about the third game in a series that already has 2 games in it not being like the other 2 or completely changing its style. I do understand that. That part I really can't argue with, especially if you are expecting a game like Baldur's Gate 3 to be like Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, which you kind of would expect that. Now, again, if you other Baldur's Gate players out there think that this is exactly like Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, then I don't know what this person is talking about. But again, I didn't play Baldur's Gate 1 or 2, so I don't really have anything to compare this game to. But I kind of understand this. If you played the first game with a partner, with a friend, and you had a blast playing it, and then you get onto the third game and it's nothing like what you played before, I would probably be a little upset also. But again, this game, I would not say is a waste of money. I've only played 15 to 20 hours of it. I paid the 60 bucks, 70 bucks. I wouldn't say it's a waste of money because I had a freaking blast playing it the little time that I did. It's just, it's okay for something to be different. It's okay if it's not something that you were expecting, but I understand from this person's point of view to spend money and it not be anything you thought it was going to be. But next one. So we've had some fun so far in this video, kind of calling people out, but I have seen a lot of reviews like this. Was really enjoying it. Then I got to Act 3, constant freezing, lagging, T-posing, characters getting stuck in conversation, and the worst input delays I've ever seen. It's unplayable and it looks like a memory leak. Turning off online does not help, nor does reloading all saves. I paid for this and I can't play it because I literally can't progress anymore. This is worse than Cyberpunk. I don't know if that's possible. Also pretty scummy because they knew most people wouldn't notice until they were 60 plus hours in and could no longer refund it. I don't see this getting fixed anytime soon either. The latest patch just made it worse. Do not buy this on PS5 or at all. I want my money and time back. Now, I have heard a lot of complaints during these reviews about issues in Act 3. Now, to me, that is unexcusable, especially like this person said, if you're going to wait 60 hours in, which I know is not necessarily the developers, because if that was the case, they would have just not worried about the game 8 hours in when you really couldn't refund it, or 4 hours even. So I don't think the 60 plus hours is why it starts to get buggy, because they just wanted people not to be able to refund it, because if you bought the game physically, you could return it no matter what. But again, they would have stopped trying after 10 hours because, again, I think most places after you played for 4 hours, you can't refund the game. But I have seen a lot of reviews just like this, where it says in Act 3, things start to get a little wonky. I never made it to Act 3, but I do think no matter what, man, no matter how big the game is, it is pretty unacceptable to just have a broken game for this game that people are spending their hard-earned dollars on. I don't care what the deadline is. I understand that companies spend years and years and years putting a game together, and at some point, those companies need it. They need money to keep going. Otherwise, they have to fire everyone on the staff or whatever it may be, because video game creation is not a cheap process by any means. But the developers definitely got their money back from this game, so hopefully they get back here and fix it. Especially Act 3, apparently. First of all, I love Dungeons & Dragons. However, this game felt boring and slow. To be fair, Dungeons & Dragons can also be boring and slow if you're playing it correctly. Not everything in Dungeons & Dragons is this huge, epic boss fight and battles, and sometimes you're gonna fight one goblin and you have 8 people on your part and you're fighting one item or one person. Or you're gonna be going to a pub and interacting with NPCs and it's, hey, how are you? Have you heard about this? You know, not everything in Dungeons & Dragons is fast-paced. However, this game felt boring and slow. I'm used to play turn-based games, but this one was boring. Any other game such as Shadowrun, Dragonfall is just so exciting to play. I played Baldur's Gate 3 for an hour and nothing happened. There was a lot that happened in the first hour of Baldur's Gate 3. I was being bored the whole time. Okay, this person's grammar. The cutscenes are built up on cliché. For example, a plane that's been going down with many explosions. What you escape just in time. I don't think this person... Okay. I get it. They're trying their best here. I'm seeing the same problem here with Overwatch. Why is Overwatch 2 being discussed in this review? The game doesn't show you nor tell you anything. This loses the fun part of the game. I was lost so many times And because of this bad map design, I was walking around the map clueless. It literally tells you where to go on the map, for the most part. But if you don't know where to go, just keep going down the path in which you were going in the first place. Oh God, I'm hitting my microphone. I'm so upset. The game is full of gore and pornographic scenes. This is why people in the 80s said that Dungeons and Dragons is bad for the children. And this is why the game is famous. This is not why the game is famous. You think because of the... Oh, I lost him. I lost him. Where'd he go? You think because this game has pornographic scenes, that's why this game got Game of the Year? Yo, people are insane, man. People don't like nudity, apparently. I don't get what the big uprave is about it. We all have body parts. Grow up. It's okay. It's okay to make fun of it a little bit. It's okay to be like, hey, that person has what I have on my body. What's the big deal? This game robbed Alan Wake 2 from the Game of the Year award. Alan Wake 2 is this year's best game. Again, Game of the Year is kind of just an opinion. And when you have more people voice their opinion on a game, that game is going to win Game of the Year. More people voice their opinion of liking Baldur's Gate 3 than people that liked Alan Wake 2. So it is what it is. A game with the dark tone, with beautiful graphics, and with a brilliant narrative, and with a zero pornographic scenes. Pornography should not depict on whether a game wins Game of the Year or not. That's such a dumb argument that I've seen multiple times on these reviews. This game, Baldur's Gate 3, is an overhyped Ren-Pai visual novel game. Do me a favor and play Alan Wake 2 and see what this game robbed. If it would be possible, I would give 0 stars. I don't understand the pornography. So I don't get that argument. It's just, I'm sorry that you're sensitive and you're not. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't want to get too into that. I don't want to upset people more than I already am probably right now. Chris, I was so excited and immediately bought for the Stadia. Well, that's your fucking first problem. Why are you buying a game like this on a Google Stadia? Graphics were not impressive for me. What was your connection like, my friend? And the gameplay seems clumsy along with the combat. It's like they tried to make it in the original spirit, but it seemed outdated. Poor character appearance and customization options make this seem like just another B-rated D&D ripoff. You know the ones I'm talking about. I returned it within the hour. I'll probably pick it up in a year or two when it's on sale and all the edges polished. Super disappointed. How about you refund it on the Stadia and go buy it for an actual gaming platform? How about that? You're gonna judge this game because you bought it on the Stadia. Why did you buy that in the first place? Samuel Smith, this might be the last one. To put it simply, the story is lackluster that introduces absolutely nothing new for the price tag. The combat feels like Dragon Age Inquisition, and outside combat, it is just a reskin of Skyrim. Why does everybody compare every RPG ever to exist? They just compare it straight to Skyrim. Baldur's Gate 3 on an RPG scale is literally the complete opposite of Skyrim. For example, there is no point and click in Skyrim. There is no... Baldur's Gate 3 is only point and click third person. You don't get free range and just to swing an axe around. This game is literally nothing like Skyrim. What are you talking about, you psycho? I don't know how it won so many awards at Game of the... This person has the most American name, and he has a very hard time with vocabulary. I don't know how it won so many awards at Game of the Year. When the controls are clunky and slow, but maybe they're not because they put this in euros. I apologize for now talking shit. Do not buy it unless you want to play a boring RPG for $60. Moreover, the only people I have seen play this game are virgins and obese people. Well, you heard it here, folks. If you play Baldur's Gate 3, you are more than likely a virgin or obese. Weird that normal people play this game. You bought it, so you played it too, you idiot. What are you talking about? Okay, I'm done. Weird that normal people play this game, yet you also played it. You bought it, you played it. So you are also, I guess, I don't understand. I can't read anymore. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on this incredible review session of Baldur's Gate 3. I don't understand people, man. I really don't. They blow my mind. What wrong with people? Jesus. Oh.